The bronze serpent, look and live. The wilderness was a long, dry, unforgiving giant. For 40 years, the people of Israel had marched through its dust, protected by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. But lately, their patience had withered like grass under the desert sun. "How much longer?" grumbled Ozam, wiping sweat from his brow. "This endless path only leads to more sand and the same wretched food." Their hearts were tired, and their voices grew sharp. They spoke against God and against Moses, forgetting the miracles that had brought them this far. They forgot the freedom from slavery, remembering only their hunger for familiar comforts. "We loathe this miserable manna," they cried, pointing at the simple white wafers scattered on the ground. "Where is the water? Where is the meat?" God heard their words. Their complaints were not just about food, but a rejection of his guidance. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble, not with an earthquake, but with a rustling, slithering sound. From the cracks in the dry earth came a terrifying judgment: fiery serpents. They were swift, venomous, and deadly. The snakes coiled around ankles and struck at hands. A burning agony spread through the victims. Panic swept through the camp like a wildfire. Young Avi saw the terrifying speed of the snakes, their venom leaving trails of deep, searing pain. He watched, horrified, as people collapsed, their skin turning dark and hot. The complaining stopped instantly, replaced by cries of pain and remorse. They understood now. Their sin was not just impatience, but a lack of faith in the one who sustained them. Ozam, clutching his arm where a serpent had struck him, stumbled toward Moses. "We have sinned," Ozam cried out, tears streaming down his face. "We have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us." Moses, though insulted and exhausted by their constant rebellion, loved his people. He went before God and lifted his voice in desperate prayer for their lives. God answered with a command, not a removal. "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone who is bitten, when he looks upon it, shall live." Moses immediately went to work. He hammered and shaped bronze, molding the metal into the exact form of the deadly creature, yet without its venom. This brazen symbol of judgment and healing was fixed high upon a sturdy wooden pole, a beacon visible across the vast, terror-stricken camp. Holding the standard high above his head, Moses walked back toward the people. "Hear me," he called, his voice ringing with authority and hope. "The Lord has provided a way. Do not look at your wound, do not look at the snake on the ground, but look up at the bronze serpent on this pole. If you look, you will live." Suddenly, a serpent struck young Avi's leg. The fiery pain was immediate, overwhelming. He stumbled, but his eyes, filled with Moses' recent instruction, did not look down at the bite. Instead, with every ounce of faith he possessed, Avi lifted his gaze high toward the gleaming bronze symbol. The moment he looked, the searing heat vanished, replaced by a cool, clean strength. He was healed. Many looked and lived that day. They learned that faith means simple obedience, to turn your gaze away from the problem and fix it on the provision God has given. Just as the bronze serpent was lifted up to save them from death, God promised a greater salvation through his Son, Jesus, who would one day be lifted up for the world. Look to him and live. This is the timeless truth of God's endless provision.